Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Today's focus has been on poverty and the effects it has had on people living here in the city of Milwaukee. A 2016 study done by the Economic Innovation Group found the gap between the richest and poorest American communities widening and ranked Milwaukee the 7th most distressed city in America, with 52% of the population considered economically distressed. My next guest is Pastor Jerome Smith, Sr. of Greater Praise Church of God in Christ, located on Milwaukee's North Side. And it is the home of the Joseph Project, an initiative meant to help individuals who need jobs find jobs. How are you, Pastor?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you being here. And Wisconsin, unfortunately, had the worst socioeconomic conditions in the country for African Americans in 2015, with Black unemployment hovering at over 20%. So if you would tell us more about the Joseph Project and how it all got started.
Well, the Joseph Project is a faith-based initiative. It was started by U.S. Senator Ron Johnson and myself as co-founders. We have an individual within the organization by the name of Orlando Owens, who happened to be paying a visit to a constituent down in Sheboygan County. And during the visit, they discovered there was a problem. The Sheboygan County had an issue. They had plenty of companies with lots of openings of great paying jobs and not enough people to actually meet the need. And even worse, they had a retiring community about to take place. And so with that being said, I received a phone call from Mr. Owens, and he told me about this, and I said, hey, we got just the opposite problem right here in Milwaukee. I said, we got far too many great people with not enough great paying jobs. Let's figure out how to bring the two communities together. And we did that. And in the process of doing that over the past year and a half, other communities has come on board. And now we're working with great communities like New Berlin and Waukesha, even Horicon.
Wow, and that's good news, because really you connecting Central City, Milwaukee residents to Sheboygan County.
Correct.
It's great.
Yes.
But it takes sometimes an hour for them to get there. So when you talk about Waukesha and
Yes.
you know, getting a little closer to where that commute is not so long, but
That's
this
true.
has been really phenomenal, in watching it grow and help change lives is really what it's all about. So is this specifically set up to help individuals who have a history of incarceration or drug and alcohol use, or is this open to a range of individuals?
Contrary to popular belief, it's open to Joe Public.
Okay, everybody.
Everyone.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what your background is.
Okay, that's
what
good.
matters is that you come in the door with a great attitude, and that you come in the door being honest and transparent. Those are the things that really matter most to us. And I know we talk about people who need to work, but to be honest with you, we're really not here to help people who need to work. We're actually here to help people who want to work.
Okay.
Because there's a problem. When you say you're here for the need, when the need is met, there's no more value there. But when you're here because you want to be here, you're going to do everything you need to do to make it happen.
Okay, and so I read that you pretty much interview a large number of individuals who want to be a part of this program, and you're pretty perceptive and can tell right away if somebody's serious
Absolutely.
and passionate about doing this or not.
Sometimes we go through about 50 people and end up with about a class of 10 to 20.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So you can just kind of, passion does kind of spill through.
It does.
When you talk to individuals, you know, and you can kind of see it in their eye, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So would you say that one of the biggest issues is that jobs that pay the wages that help bring families out of poverty really are across town, hours away, kind of like you've got Foxconn, who's going to be coming to Wisconsin.
Correct.
And the concern is, with this projected 13,000 jobs over time, how are those individuals who may not have transportation going to be able to get there?
Transportation is a major barrier.
Yeah.
And with our program, unlike a lot of other programs, we're not here to bash no program, but we don't give you a lead at the end of our service. We actually give you an interview. We don't guarantee you a job, we guarantee you an interview. What I can tell you is that if you follow what our people give you during our course, it's only 1 week long, there's about a 95% chance you're going to get hired.
Yeah.
And we give the company, the first company, 2 weeks to give you an answer. After that 2 weeks, we open it up and give you the gamut of all the companies we work with. And the biggest barrier, like you said, with that is the transportation.
Yeah.
So we, at the end of this, we give you 30 days free. Your first 30 days of work, free transportation.
Okay.
After that 30-day period, we ask you for a minimal fee to assist with covering the cost to transport you.
Okay, that's great. So you have individuals who are going to these particular jobs. They pick up other individuals along the way in this van that is pretty much maintained and paid for by the church.
Correct.
And some of the occupants might get in the van at noon and get back home at midnight, but that's the passion and the commitment that you're talking about that has to be there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like a ride share. All shuttles leave from the church and return to the church. So they have to get to the church. And I know sometimes we talk about the hour commute or a little bit over an hour commute, but there was a time when I lived at 931 West Burleigh. And I worked at 3232 South 27th Street. And I caught the 14 to get to work. And it would take me a good hour and a half to get to work. Yeah. And that's right here in town.
Yeah.
So to get on a shuttle and go an hour, that's really not that bad.
Yeah. And people probably get a chance to get to know each other and talk and all those things. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, and you have people who have the attitude that say, I would ride 3 hours if I had to.
Absolutely.
Because they want to work. And this is interesting, and I have to bring it up because we don't always see church and state come together to come up with something like this to help make a difference in the inner city, not all the time. So I'm interested in hearing how you and Senator Ron Johnson forged this partnership. So I say we don't always see church and state, but we definitely don't always see the more conservative side of things coming with the inner city, and that's just the reality of it. But this is something that has had a positive outcome and really is showing people that at the end of the day, politics doesn't really matter when it comes to changing lives.
Absolutely not. And the person you're talking about is U.S. Senator Ron Johnson. No ifs, ands, or buts. Great guy. I've gotten a chance to know Senator Johnson for himself as an individual. Not necessarily as a politician, but as a person who actually cares about people. And what happened is Orlando Owens, who actually worked for Senator Johnson, who helped bring all this thing together. When we did the first class, Senator Johnson got a wind of the video. He saw the video. He contacted me. He said, hey, this is the right thing to do. And so when you look at this thing and you talk about church and state and you start talking about politics, the Joseph Project has done something that I've never seen anything else do. The Joseph Project is breaking all kinds of barriers, not just barriers of cycles of poverty. The Joseph Project has brought together people from all parties, Republican, Green, whatever, Tea Party, whatever party, the Democrats, whatever. They're all coming together. Senator Lena Taylor has actually come out and done a workshop there. She's spoken to the class. Lieutenant Governor Clayfish has been there a few times.
Both of them have been on this show and talked about their passion of changing lives, especially through jobs. So that's awesome.
And the senator has been there countless times. Dale Kawinga, lots of these great guys have actually been out to the Joseph Project. Then, when you talk about religions, when I tell you this, yes, the Church of God in Christ, we may have been the guys who pioneered this thing, but this thing is broken religious barriers, denominational barriers. The Baptists are working with us, Lutherans, Presbyterian, non-denomination, Catholics. People from all walks of life are all working together to bring a difference in our community.
And the bottom line and the moral of the story is when we all come together,
something happens.
Something happens, and it's the truth. So I think it's a great example, especially in the political climate that we live in today, everything that's happening. These are the kind of things that people definitely want to hear about, that feel-good story that is changing lives. So I want to talk about the name, the Joseph Project. It came from the book, The Triumphs of Joseph, How Today's Community Healers Are Reviving Our Streets and Neighborhoods by Black conservative Robert Woodson Sr. And he used the biblical story of Joseph and when he was imprisoned by the Pharaoh. So all of this really does tie back into the church. Yeah.
And here's what's the funny part. When we started doing the work, we didn't even have a name. We just started working. And all of a sudden, October 26th, in a meeting out in Oshkosh, Renee Riddle actually came up with this name.
Okay.
And it was awesome. And I was like, this is a perfect fit. And then the senator had read this book and was like, this is perfect. This is what we do. And all of a sudden I get this book delivered to me saying, thank you for being a modern day Joseph.
Oh, wow. I love that. So real quick, for people who are watching and probably want to pass the word along to others who may be wanting to work, what's the age requirement? What are some of the stipulations?
So here's the deal. Every Wednesday morning, 9:45 a.m., all they have to do is show up at Greater Praise Church of God in Christ, located at 5422 West Center Street. Be dressed for success, bring a pen, and if they've got one, bring a resume. When you come in the door, come in there with a great attitude. When you come in the door, come in there, be prepared to be transparent.
I love it.
Doesn't matter what was in your past. What matters is that you're willing to talk about it today.
All right, so in the classes you're offering life skills training, conflict management, financial management, and so many other things that
spiritual fitness.
Really, yes, and everybody needs that for sure. And it's kind of like you're given the skills so that yes, you're going to get this job, but you are going to have a better understanding on how to manage your money and make a difference in your life across the board. So
absolutely.
That's really good stuff. So I'm hoping that we really can get the word out on what you're doing with this project. I know it's been talked about on many occasions, but I know it's new to somebody that's hearing it today. So real quick, what are your hopes when you look at the city of Milwaukee? What are you hoping to see happen?
That's a great idea, a great question. And I'll tell you, in the midst of this, I've heard people say that these guys are going to move to Sheboygan, or these guys are going to move over here, or they're going to move whatever. That's not my hope for these guys. And the reason why that's not my hope for these guys is we need a hero, we need an example right in the community. So for me, what I see is I see these guys going out, getting these great jobs, coming back, planting that seed in their community for that their neighbors will get the idea that, you know what, I don't have to sit here and wait on a check. I don't have to go out here and do crazy things to get decent money. I can go to work. Joe's doing it, Tom's doing it, Sheila's doing it, Tanya's doing it. I can do it. And that's my hope. And I want to see it spread like wildfire.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And with this program growing the way that it is, it looks like your hopes are definitely coming to fruition. So please continue doing what you're doing. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say thank you for all of that you're doing to make a difference in the community.
To God be the glory.
Yes, sir. Thank you again. Pastor Jerome Smith, Sr., he is the pastor of Greater Praise Church of God in Christ, located at 5422 West Center Street in Milwaukee. For more information on the Joseph Project, you can log on to their website at greaterpraisecogic.com. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, I thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues in Milwaukee. Have a great day.